in the business that we do. But getting back to it, I'm sure that when the other three members who were here before would have made a similar case to the Government of Canada that they should be returning those excise tax dollars to Nova Scotia so that we could use those dollars on roads. And it's a number that we've kept track of because that was a very important argument with respect to the cases that we have always made to the Government of Canada. We will continue to keep track of it, but I'm not certain that it gets published in our budget documents. And if we do find it, I can say to the Honourable Member for Clare, I will point out to you where it is in the event that we find it, but we're certainly willing to share with you our source of obtaining that information. And, but I am pleased to say that, that as a result of the most recent federal budget, that the dollars that they collect in excise tax is roughly equal to the dollars that will flow to Nova Scotia for infrastructure, most of which will find its way to our roads in this province.
Honourable Member for Clare.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to focus now on the highway agreement, on the highway agreement for highways 101 and 104 that was signed October 7, 2005. Back in late February of this year, our current minister announced, or maybe he re-announced, some twinning work on Highway 104 and Highway 25. I'm just curious, is this additional funding, additional work to be carried out on these two highways, or is it the same funding that's listed under this agreement?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I do want to point out that it's the first time that, that I have made that announcement. Now, I'm not going to promise that it'll be the last time I'll make it, but it was the first time that I made that announcement. But certainly, in answer to a question previously, I said there was about $8.8 million flowing from CSIF 1 to projects in Nova Scotia, and the number for CSIF 2 is $15 million that will find its way to the project that will take us from Lynasea to the other side of Sutherland's River, to the eastern side of Sutherland's River. And that's yes, yeah. And the remainder of that money that was announced will be spent on Highway 125. And I'm sure the Honourable Member for Cape Breton South knows exactly where that money will be spent. Good.
The Honourable Member for Clare.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Under the agreement this year, $650,000 will be spent on Highway 104 or Highway 125. We see in the following year, 2008 and 2009, the bulk of the money will be spent in those 2 years. My question to the minister is, what work exactly will be carried out this year for the $650,000 that is indicated here in the timetable?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Yeah, 625,000. I'm not certain I followed the Honourable Member's question, because we're under CSIF 1, we're spending $8.8 million this year. Last year, we completed a structure, and we completed a great deal of clearing on that 104 section. And this year, we're going to we spent $6.8 million last year in 06-07, and this year we're we're spending 8.8 million out of CSIF 1 in that area. So perhaps if I got a bit more clarity, I'll try and explain more.
Member for Clare.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the Minister, I'm on page 20 of the agreement. Page 20 of the agreement under 2007-2008. We see that the Government of Canada will be spending $650,000. The Government of Nova Scotia is not spending any provincial money on Highway 104 or 125. So for this year, unless there's another timetable with new numbers elsewhere that I don't have, I'm looking at the agreement dated October 7, 2005. So we have $650,000 identified to be spent on this project. So maybe the Minister could indicate whether there's another timetable somewhere else, but with the timetable that I have, it's listed as $650,000.
Honourable Minister of Transportation, Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I apologize to the honourable member. I didn't realize the document that he was quoting from, and he was quoting from the document that formulates the agreement that is signed in the initial the initial stage. When you sit down, you negotiate the agreement, you sign the documents, then it identifies the flow of money. There is an understanding, however, that as circumstances change through the course of projects, that some of the anticipated cash flow would be changed as a result of changing conditions or circumstances related to the projects. And for instance, if you look at the history of CSIF 1, you will find that in the first year of that agreement, there was largely federal dollars that were spent, much higher percentage. And if you look at the end years of that agreement, you will find that that it's a higher percentage of provincial dollars that were spent, simply because of the approvals that were obtained as we worked our way through the agreement. So yes, the numbers that he quotes are numbers that were in the initial agreement, but those numbers are subject to continuous negotiation as the agreement plays itself out.
Honourable Member for Clare.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to talk about the three interchange that are listed in the agreement. There's the one in Joggin Bridge interchange in Digby County, just outside of Digby. There's the interchange at Hectanooga Road in the municipality of Clare, and there's the Brooklyn Road intersection in Yarmouth County. I want to start off looking at the Joggin Bridge interchange. According to the schedule from the agreement, this year $2 million will be spent on this interchange at Joggin Bridge. Maybe the Minister could indicate if $2 million is the correct amount. At the same time, I'm curious to find out what work is scheduled to take place this year. At the same time, have the tenders been called? And if not, when are they planned to go out? And is the, I guess my final question, is the department still planning to spend $2 million this year on that interchange at Joggin Bridge in Digby County?
Honourable Minister of Transportation, Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I can tell the honourable member that this year we plan to spend $2.9 million in Joggins, and that $2.9 million includes an amount of the interchange ramps, that's a distance, 2.3 million. And for the realignment of Trunk 1 is an amount of 600,000 that will be spent on that. That's at Joggins, and that will open this year. And I'm sorry, 08 it will open, sorry. Not this year, 08 that will open. I was looking at another one, the Brooklyn Road. This year there's an amount of $2.1 million will be spent on that, and it will open in 07. That's the one that I was looking at for this year. And Hectanoga will be completed in 09. There's $100,000 being spent on that this year.
Honourable Member for Clare. Honourable Minister of Transportation, Public Works.
The last part of that question was that have the tenders been called? No, the answer is not yet, but they will be in the near future. And in answer to a previous question, we talked about the flow of money with those agreements. Just want to point out that the total amount of money will still be $30 million with respect to that agreement.
Honourable Member for Clare.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving to the Hectanoga Road interchange, under the schedule, and the minister just confirmed that the province is looking at spending $100,000 on this interchange in the municipality of Clare. I'm just curious, what work is scheduled to take place this year? Again, has a tender gone out? If not, when does the minister anticipate the tender will be going out?
Honourable Minister of Transportation, Public Works.
Mr. Chair, the amount of money is the $100,000 is for clearing. The tender has not yet been let, but we would anticipate that happening in the reasonably near future.
Honourable Member for Clare.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know in the last 2 years the department has bought some pieces of land in that immediate area where the Hectanoga Road interchange is going to be built. But when I look at the agreement, there's no funding listed in the agreement for purchasing properties. So I guess my question is, first of all, how come the funding is not listed? Second part is how much money has been spent so far in purchasing properties for the Hectanoga Road interchange.
Honourable Minister of Transportation, Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The reason that the purchase of property does not show up in the agreement is because it is not part of the cost sharing that takes place. The purchase of property and the design work and the environmental assessment work is all work that the province must undertake on its own. The only cost sharing that occurs is in the actual construction of the roads or the interchange, whatever the case may be, itself. There is no cost sharing with respect to property. I would have to get the details of how much money has been spent for the purchase of the property. We don't have that with us, but we'll be glad to share it with the honourable member.
Honourable Member for Clare.
I would appreciate that at the convenience of the minister. I want to just look at the Brooklyn Road intersection. The minister indicated, of course, circumstances changes, schedules are fast-tracked, and especially in this intersection, according to the schedule under the agreement, the work was supposed to be carried out in year 5 in 2009, 2010. Actually, just a few weeks ago, I noticed work had started on this project. I know there's been some fatal accidents at this intersection. The work that was proposed was moved up to this year in 2007 instead of being done in 2009, and I fully agree. I don't think you'll have anyone in our southwestern part of the province that disagrees with the government by moving forward for this, this work to go ahead. So I'm curious, looking at this work that has started, could the minister indicate whether or not the work will be completed this year, the overpass will be done, and traffic will be moving?
Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And because the job at that interchange was not as great as other work, it was possible for us to be able to move it up, and we do anticipate completing the work this year so that folks will be able to use that interchange fully as they move into 2008 and beyond.
Honourable Member for Clare.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I thank the Minister for his information. I know I only have a few minutes left, but I want to start talking about bridges. The Minister may recall, I'm sure he does, last September when a 3-lane overpass collapsed in Laval, Quebec, killing 5 people and injuring 6 people. The headline of the paper that day called "A Wake-Up Call" for the province. Mr. Chair, with this terrible accident happening in Quebec, it again raises concerns about how safe our overpasses, our bridges are here in our province. We know some of our bridges are over 100 years old. We know some of our bridges don't meet current weight and traffic volume standards. We know that many of our bridges need extensive repairs. We know that some of them have been destroyed and damaged by floods in recent years. And we've seen bridge collapsing, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, about 3 years ago, in the municipality of Clare, the Matagan River Bridge collapsed in the river. Matter of fact, it was August 13, 2003. Luckily, nobody was seriously injured. This bridge is located on Trunk 1 that carries more traffic than any other road in Clare. Again, it was a miracle that nobody got hurt that day. Again, looking back at this bridge collapsing in the river, you have to wonder if it could have been prevented. I know some people at home have asked that question, and I understand that the department has staff inspecting bridges on a regular basis. When I look at, and this is only a sample of a bridge inspection quarterly report that was tabled here earlier, Mr. Chairman. It was dated July 22nd, 2002, and they're pretty well standard. It shows in the report, for example, in this quarter was April, May, June of 2002 in the Western region. It identifies what structures, bridges were identified. It also identifies what condition these structures are in. Furthermore, it actually rates the structures, whether they're in good structure, fair, or poor. Also, we see if a structure is rated to be a risk to the traveling public and close to traffic. Mr. Chair, again, looking back at the Matagan River Bridge collapsing in the river, I fail to understand why it happened. I know some concerned citizens from Clare did contact the field office, the local district office in Sonyville, to raise concerns about this bridge before it collapsed in August of 2003. I understand highway engineers assess bridges in our province on a regular basis, and I'm sure, again, depending on their rating structures, bridges are inspected more often than others, and probably more frequently. So my first question to the Minister is, how often, I guess, are bridges in Nova Scotia inspected, and are these bridge inspections available to the public?
Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I can share with the honourable member that every bridge in the province gets what's referenced as a walk-around inspection or a visual inspection annually. And every bridge gets a much more thorough investigation about every 4 years as part of the inspection program. And if people have an interest in a particular bridge, we can certainly share that information with them. This year, the amount of capital that we're spending on our bridge program is $20 million, and we're spending $3.5 million on maintenance. I'm sorry, $3.5 more million than last year on our maintenance program for bridges. So it certainly is receiving a great deal of attention from the department, and we recognize the need for it. Unfortunately, regardless of what condition a bridge is in, if an accident occurs under the right set of circumstances, even a bridge that passed the most thorough inspection could wind up being damaged very severely as a result of an accident, or indeed rendered unusable as a result of an accident. And unfortunately, we're not able to predict those, but we do our very best to ensure that the bridges are able to withstand normal usage and mishaps that may occur in a bridge. And we even had one this year. The honourable member for Pictou West would know we had a bridge this year that actually burnt. And now I don't think it burnt as a result of squealing tires going over the surface, but I don't know that any real information has come forward as to some would suggest that there might have been some gasoline coming out of a tank, might have had something to do with it. But anyway, we don't know all of the details, but various things take bridges out, unfortunately, and we're doing our best to ensure that we minimize the number of events of that nature that occur.
Honourable Member for Clare.
Mr. Chair, the Minister indicated that these bridge inspections are available to the public. Maybe he could indicate to the committee in terms of what the processes involve. Do they write directly to the Minister requesting the most recent bridge inspection of any given bridge? So I hope the Minister will provide us with information on that. I know my time is coming to a close there shortly. Mr. Chair, in Clare, Mr. Minister, I have received several inquiries from concerned citizens about the safety of bridges in their community. There's two in question. There's the Salmon River Bridge in Salmon River and the St. Benoni Bridge in St. Benoni. I know that the department has done some work on the Salmon River Bridge last summer, but still, there's residents in the Salmon River area that have questioned how safe is the Salmon River Bridge. So my question to the Minister, would it be possible to request the most recent bridge assessment reports for those two bridges that I just indicated to you?
Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And if the honourable member is in contact with the division engineer in Yarmouth, they do have that. Greg Newell, he has that information, and I'm sure he'd be very happy to share it with the honourable member.
The honourable member for Clare.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Could you indicate how much time's left? 10 seconds? 10 seconds? Okay. maybe what I'll do, I'll take my seat, Mr. Chair, and I'll return on a future day. Thank you.
Okay. Time has expired. The floor recognizes the honourable member for Pictou West.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm pleased to have a second opportunity here to ask a few questions to the Minister and his department, and I'm going to share my time this time around with my colleague from Hants East. But
More eloquent.
but anyway, I do have a few other questions, and I think the last point I was on before other members had a few questions. I was inquiring about the rare species in St. Croix in Halifax, or in Hants County, and I didn't quite get the answer completed, or we got on to some other topics. And I guess first of all, is that particular pond where this rare species is located, the northern red-bellied dace, is it in the line of the planned Trans-Canada Highway expansion? And if so, you know, what is the department doing to protect this rare species?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
As I said earlier, Mr. Chair, we did investigate and did not find any. It did not show up in the environmental assessment, is what I should say. Yes, the particular body of water is in the path, but the species has not shown up as an endangered species on either the provincial or the federal list of endangered species.
The honourable member for Pictou West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I will leave it at that, but I would hope that if it is a rare species or a genetically distinct embryo, that it would be looked at by the department and all necessary measures taken to protect if it turns out to be an endangered species. I want to ask, in relation to the same 101 highway, the Windsor Causeway is part of the expansion to double the road through that area, and as we know, it's been an issue whether salmon are able to get up river through that causeway, and of course if it's doubled or twinned there, how is that going to impact on the fish species there, and how is the environmental impact study that was being done to look at that whole issue coming along, and really, you know, what are the plans to twin the 101 through that section of road?
Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I can tell the honourable member that for the Windsor Causeway section off that highway, the proposal call for environmental assessment just went out last week. So we will be doing a complete environmental assessment, and of course that would include a complete assessment of the impact that any construction would have on species of fish that would need to traverse the bodies of water affected by such a construction.
Honourable member for Pictou West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, it's good to know that there's a study to look at it, and hopefully all aspects of the fish species will be looked at and protect their environment. I want to move on to a different topic, and my colleague from Clare had mentioned a few moments ago about bridges, and certainly bridges are a very important component of our infrastructure in this province, and it's one that rural MLAs hear about a lot, and I'm sure the Minister hears even more in combination from all areas of the province. But it's certainly obvious that we have an infrastructure deficit in the province. The 2001 study showed it, I believe, at around $560 million was the amount of money required to fix up all the bridges at that time, and today it's probably even more. And there's been many bridges over the years that have fallen or collapsed due to age or heavy trucks or whatever the case might be. I think the Minister said a few minutes ago that various things take bridges out, and that's certainly true. But a few bridges I want to bring to your attention. I guess the first one, maybe not unexpected, is the West River East Side Road overpass on the Trans-Canada Highway at Salt Springs. I've asked you about that before, and I've asked you about that before, and I'm asking you again. When is that particular overpass going to be repaired?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
The tender will go out this year, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member for Pictou West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In 2008, then, we were going to see that bridge repaired on the overpass. That's good news, and people of Lime Rock and Lovett and the area on the overpass will be pleased to hear that, and I just want to confirm that that was actually going to happen. I want to bring to your attention a few other bridges that are causing some problems in this province, and there's several in Guysborough County. I'll refer to another county that's been in the news lately. One was in the Mosier River. Obviously there's some problems there. The pictures were available from the Leader of the Opposition last week. And there's another one certainly in Halfway Cove that was certainly a tragedy in this province where 2 people died. And there's a number of others in Guysborough County that are a serious problem. And in fact, there's a petition on the go in that county where there's, I think, over 1,000 names now of people have signed that are very concerned, very worried about the wooden bridges and generally bridges in general in that particular county. And there's a lot of roads, a lot of water courses, and therefore a lot of bridges in that piece of real estate. And so we obviously do have a problem with, especially with wooden rails and being jarred loose or rotting out, or structures just not holding up. And I guess I've asked you this before in question period, but I'd just like to hear again what is it that the department is doing to inspect our wooden bridges that have railings that cars or vehicles could impact and go through and cause serious damage like we've seen in the past. So what inspection system is in place, particularly for our wooden rail bridges?
Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. With respect to the bridges that the honourable member was referencing, the wooden railing bridges, this year we are doing some extra training with respect to the inspection of those bridges. So when they are inspected, and we do inspect them every year, they will get a more thorough look than is usually the case because we're in the process of training people to do the inspection and repairs to those bridges. And we have taken $1.5 million out of the increased funding for RIM and dedicated it to the repair of those bridges throughout the province. I can tell the honourable member with respect to the bridge at Half Island Cove, we hope to have that bridge well underway in terms of its repair next week, if not this week. So it will be done. It was adequately protected up until now, but the fact that it's we want to get it repaired so that people will look at that bridge with far more confidence than they have as they go by it now, seeing the site of the very sad accident that occurred there. I'm also, you made reference to the Moses River Bridge. I can tell you that the structure of that bridge itself is sound. It has received a thorough inspection. The topping on that bridge, it could be dressed up a little better in terms of how it looks, and I would anticipate that it will, the topping of that bridge will be addressed in this construction season.
Honourable Member for Pictou West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess while we're on the topic of bridges, I just have one other bridge I want to bring to the Minister's attention from my riding. It's across the Middle River in Union Centre, and it's a bridge that's now restricted in weight, I think down to 25 tons. I assume it's just the Middle River Bridge at Union Centre would be the name of it. But it's a wooden rail bridge. It's high above the water, and it's quite a drop if a vehicle were to go through it. I've had probably more calls on that bridge as a concern than any other over the last number of years, and there are some railings that are missing from time to time, although the department has come out and put them back up. And I've visibly have seen a hole. You could look down and see the river that you know, is eroded over time, and then it's been filled in from time to time. But and I've talked to our area manager about it, and you know, I'm told again that the bridge is inspected and it's safe. But there's a number of people that have different opinion on that, and just are worried about the condition of that particular bridge. So I just pass that along for your department's attention. I want to, in my time that remains here, a couple other points I want to bring along or ask about. And I guess another issue that we, as MLAs in rural Nova Scotia, get quite a number of calls on is the condition of the roads. Yes, they're many times they're poor, but often from people that have had damage to their vehicle, and they've broken a rim or tires gone flat or some front end damage is occurring. So naturally they come and say, well, you know, that pothole was not there before, or I didn't see it, it was too dark, and it cost me $388 or whatever to fix my vehicle, and by golly, the department should pay for it because they were the ones that neglected the road. So we call Mr. Lanchel and Mr. Bruce Lanchel and or his assistant Marilyn Elliott and ask for consideration for this individual who's had a damaged vehicle. But oftentimes they're turned down. They're said, no, it wasn't the fault of the department, or there's a sign down the road a mile away that should have been noticed, or whatever reason is given that they're not actually getting any consideration towards their concern. So I'd like to know what percentage of claims are actually successful, and is there a better system to look at vehicle damage in this province?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We've had 1,079 claims in the previous year. 416 of those have been paid, and the amount paid out was $483,000.
Honourable Member for Pictou West.
So again, I didn't hear the percentage, but roughly what percent are actually successful?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Quick math would tell me that that's getting close to 40%.
Honourable Member for Pictou West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, it's good to hear it's that high. I don't think it's that successful with the people that I deal with. I hear many of them say no, they weren't given any consideration, or they just weren't eligible, or, you know, occasionally we've had, you know, correspondence with Mr. Lanchel, or telephone conversations with him or his assistant, and on the odd occasion we've been successful, but I wish my batting average was 400. It's not that good. And you know, I guess my question again is, what is the procedure then when somebody has a complaint? What's required from the complainant, and what does the department do with the information that comes forward?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I could tell the honourable member that if everybody in his area who had a claim spoke to him about the claim, then he would be batting 400% because that's the amount that we pay. But he's very much like myself. I only hear from people when they have been denied in the first instance, and they feel that, or they have been unsuccessful. So in those circumstances, because there is a reasonably, well, I would describe it as a good procedure in place with respect to evaluating claims, and the decisions are taken based on that criteria, that that he shouldn't anticipate that his batting average would be anywhere near 400% in those circumstances. But look, it's a question of determining whether whether the department has a liability with respect to failing to provide appropriate notification relative to the deficiency in the road that is capable of causing an accident, and that is how the claims are assessed and the determination made as to whether there will be a payout on those claims. And well, yeah, some things are best not said, and I won't say it. So.
Honourable Member for Pictou West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, certainly the cost of driving a vehicle is expensive, and certainly the cost to repair a vehicle from damage to our roads is certainly costing drivers a lot of money. And as I mentioned earlier in my remarks, that you know, the roads we live on, the roads we drive on every day, those are the ones that really are costing us money in vehicle damage and vehicle repair. Most of it is not claimed to get something back from the department, but most people just go to the garage and get it fixed and grumble and growl all the way till they pay their bill. But certainly the cost of running a vehicle in this province is one of our major costs in a household. And I want to refer now to the study that was done by GPI Atlantic. Last fall, they released a very comprehensive document outlining that the transportation is the largest cost that Nova Scotians are facing at this point in time, larger than health care or any other issue. And they're saying that the direct cost to run a vehicle is a little over $3,000 in a year, and the indirect cost to health care and you know, indirect insurance and so on is more than that, $4,500. So it's somewhere around $7,500, $7,600 per Nova Scotian. Now that includes everybody, whether they have a vehicle or not. But so it's a total of $6.4 billion a year to cost direct and indirect for transportation in this province. That's a lot of money. That's almost as much as our provincial budget in its entirety. And so they're suggesting that, you know, maybe we should be looking at alternate forms of transportation rather than every person have a car or every family have 2 or 3 vehicles. And we need to look at more public transportation. We need to look at, you know, bicycles and walking and other alternate forms of getting from point A to point B. And so I got a couple questions here I want to ask you in relation to, I guess, alternate transportation. And first of all, the fast ferry that's been advocated by HRM and has been on the design table for a lot of years, and from the run from Bedford into downtown Halifax. I recently read where the municipality is going to put up a couple $100,000 for the design of those units, and certainly would cut down on traffic congestion coming into the downtown. So from the province's point of view, I'd like to know what your position is on the fast ferry, and financially, are you going to be participating in this project?
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I can tell the honourable member that that to date, all of the work that has been done around that project has been work initiated and completed by HRM. It is their initiative, and we have not been involved in any discussions with them with respect to it. We of course are prepared to work with HRM in various projects, but that's not one that has been the subject of discussion between the 2 levels of government at this stage. And the honourable member, in referencing the costs, indeed there is quite a change in how we do things. As most members know, I was a member of this House in another time, and at that time, the hours of the legislature were set according to the schedule of the rail liner that ran between Halifax and Sydney, and that's because members traveling all the way from Sydney up to Truro. Even some of the Truro members were seen on the rail liner in those times, and folks would get on and make their way to Halifax and spend the week here and go back. That was, the trains were gone, the dayliner was gone before Mr. Mulrooney came to office. And the point is that whoever took them away because nobody was using them. And that's the sad part of it. And I think all of us collectively need to accept that we have to look at public transportation in whatever form is deemed to be appropriate as an alternate to all of us traveling around in single vehicles. But I can also say that while, you know, that was the mode of travel when we were here before, I can also say that now it is not uncommon for a member to be expected to attend to his duties in the legislature and to appear at events in his riding on the same day. And as a result of that, you find yourself leaving here and getting on the road and traveling to Antigonish or traveling to Pictou or traveling to Queens, whatever the case may be, and coming back here. And again, that's part of a changed expectation that is out there with respect to people who do this job. And people who do other jobs are expected to be far more mobile today than they had been previously. So yes, there is a significant cost associated with transportation, but if you were to examine that cost relative to, for instance, road builders in the summer, you would probably find that they do a lot more traveling now from site to site than they did previously. Or if you looked at people in other businesses, they're far more mobile today than they had been previously. So the challenges are considerable in terms of what's expected of us, in terms of how we perform, whether it's public life or in business, and the move to going from private individual transportation to more public transportation is something that is really going to have to be addressed as part of a changing culture within our society. And we're going to be forced there one way or the other. It's a question of how we go about addressing that change in the culture. Certainly, providing the opportunity is part of it, but if we provide the opportunity and there is no response to the use of public transport, then we've not really addressed the problem, because all we've done is add it to the capital cost of public transit without adding to increased usage. So it's really got to go hand in hand between the two in terms of how we bring about a change in the culture.
Thank you. The honourable member for Pictou West.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not sure if I got the answer I was looking for, but I got a nice dialogue of information along the way. So, but I agree with the minister certainly that as MLAs, we are expected to be in lots of places on the same day. So, and I think as the job goes along, it probably demand is even greater for more responsibilities in different parts of the province. So I certainly agree with you on that. I did want to ask about public transit in particular, though, and you know, we've lost some public transit in some areas of our province. Like we lost the bus service along the eastern shore that was providing a good service all along number 7, and we've lost service along the south shore, and you know, there's been cutbacks in some other areas. On the other hand, there's been some positive things happening with Kings County Transit. They've expanded down the number 1 considerable distance, and in Pictou County, there's a group there at the present time called Pictou County Unites. Have been meeting regularly and trying to either emulate the model that's in Kings County or looking at some type of expansion or bringing back the transit system that was once so common in Pictou County. It served the 5 towns and some of the rural areas adjacent, and there's many people would like to see that come to life again. So I guess I want to ask Mr. Minister if there is a solid proposal coming forward from Pictou County. Is it something that the department might consider to financially or to promote or to help with? I know it has to be built on a sound business case, but it would be a great benefit to many in the community college and working public and just in general population in Pictou County. So I just want to ask if there might be some support for that project.
Thank you. The Minister of Transportation Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I would suggest to the honourable member that that's a question that might be more appropriate for the Minister of Service Nova Scotia Municipal Relations, since it involves an activity with the municipal units that are there, and it's not part of the mandate of the Department of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you. The honourable member for Pictou West.
Well, again, I guess I have a question that might perhaps fall in the purvey of Service Nova Scotia, but it's a question that's come to me. There's a group, as you're familiar with, LEO, or the League of Equal Opportunities, and they've promoted public transit and buses for a long time. And but one of their issues is around the fuel tax exemption for those type of vehicles for public transit, and right now they're paying the full tax on fuel, unlike farmers and fishermen and woodlot owners and some others that get an exemption on buying fuel. And they would certainly like to see that apply to their service as well. And again, maybe that's not in your department, but it's transportation related, so I'm asking, is it something that you may consider allowing exemption on fuel for LEO vehicles?
Thank you. The Honourable the Minister of Transportation Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And again, it's probably a question that would come under the purview of the Minister of Finance, except to say that the occupations to which he referenced that do receive an exemption from the gasoline tax are occupations that don't use the public highway system of the province. Fishermen, in fueling their boats, don't use the public highway system of the province to run their boats. The farm operations burn their fuel on the fields or in the woods, and that fuel, for the most part, is not consumed on the public highways of the province. And that's the philosophical reason for providing the exemption in those circumstances.
Thank you. The Honourable the member for Pictou West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know we've only got a few minutes left, and there's a couple other points I want to touch upon. The Cobequid Pass and the Highway 104 Western Alignment, been through there a few times, paid my toll, and as have more and more Nova Scotians and visitors, and I understand it's certainly doing better than had been anticipated when it was opened in 1997. In fact, so much so that it's hoped that the date for no longer having tolls would come sooner than later. And I wonder if you could give us an update on when that date might be, that no tolls would no longer exist in Colchester, Cumberland County.
Thank you. The Honourable the Minister of Transportation Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I'm just looking to decide how long my answer can be, but I think I can provide a complete answer in this circumstance. To date, essentially what we have done is decided not to increase the toll at the previously prescribed rate of increase, so that the advances that we've made with respect to the financing have allowed us to delay increases in tolls on that road. Now, there has been some pay down on one class of the debt associated with that road, but not significant to allow us to look at changing the date at this stage. So we're not increasing at the rate we had anticipated, but still looking at approximately the same date as to when it would be completed.
The Honourable, the member for Pictou West.
And I guess, Mr. Chair, Mr. Minister, what is that date? When do we anticipate there would no longer be tolls?
The Honourable, the Minister of Transportation Public Works.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I will have to undertake to get the specific date, and we'll have that for you when we chat again next time.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Pictou West.
Well, we've got a few minutes left, Mr. Chair, and I guess I want to switch back to the estimates and ask about the amount of money that is actually in your budget for amortization or for debt repayment. And as we know, the good portion of our provincial budget goes to pay debt from previous years, previous decades, but I know that highways and bridges and ferries and so on also are amortized over a number of years. And so while we're paying a huge amount of debt in the total budget, we're also paying for past debt in these various categories. And what percent of your total budget is actually paying for amortization?
Thank you. The Honourable, the Minister of Transportation Public Works.
The amortization amount this year is $95 million, and that's the amount this year.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Pictou West has 1 minute left.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. $95 million in total for amortization. So is that part of your $319 million budget? Is that almost a third of it is going towards debt from previous years?
Thank you. The Honourable, the Minister of Transportation Public Works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. It's important to distinguish the numbers that we're talking about here. The actual cash that we will spend as a department next year will be $403 million. So that's the amount of money that we will sign checks for in this year for work on the roads. Now, in terms of the budget this year, 95 million will be amortized cost. Now, of course, part of the 95 million is the CCA amount incorporated in that.
Thank you. Order, please. The time allotted for debate in Committee on Supply has now expired. The Honourable, the Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move that the committee do now rise and report progress and beg leave to sit again on a future day.
Thank you. The committee stands adjourned.
Chairman reports.
The committee has made progress and begs leave to sit again another day.
Government business. The Honourable Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to call private members' public bills for second reading.
Private members' public bills for second reading.
I'd like to call Bill number 106 Fairness in Fees Act.
Bill number 106, the Fairness in Fees Act. The Honourable Leader of the Liberal Party.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise this evening to move second reading of Bill 106, the Fairness in Fees Act. Mr. Speaker, this is a bill that has been introduced a couple of times in the past by our caucus, both by myself during my time as finance critic and most recently by my colleague from Halifax, Clayton Park, who serves as our finance critic today. Speaker, this bill is pretty direct in its intent. The idea being that if government should decide that it wishes to increase existing user fees during the fiscal year, that those fees must be brought in as part of the budgetary process and as part of the legislative process here in the province. We have seen in the past, Mr. Speaker, where governments have arbitrarily decided to increase fees outside of the legislature, and obviously, as part of our democratic process, any increase in fees should be debated by the elected members of the House of Assembly on behalf of the voters in Nova Scotia who elect us. This bill now, if passed, will force the government, not only this government, but any future governments, that should there be any intent to increase existing fees, then at that point, Mr. Speaker, it would have to be debated here in the House prior to those increases taking place. Mr. Speaker, I believe this bill is something that strengthens the role of the House of Assembly. It strengthens our responsibility to the people of Nova Scotia. It's my understanding that the government may be introducing some amendments to this legislation, which we're more than willing to look at to see how we can strengthen this bill. But more importantly, again, Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to see that the government has called this bill for a second reading, and as I mentioned, I believe this will make not only the government but all members of this House more responsible to the people of Nova Scotia when it comes to the services they are provided by the government, and more importantly, the fees that the government decides to attach to those services. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my colleague from Halifax, Clayton Park, for again introducing this bill and for assisting it in moving forward during this sitting of the House. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I look forward to some of the comments on this bill, and certainly to this bill moving to law amendments to see if there's any presenters or any amendments that may be offered at that time. With that, Mr. Speaker, I would move second reading of Bill 106, Fairness and Fees Act.
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll rise briefly to comment on the bill. We believe that there is a principle of this bill that's a good principle, and which we indicated in my speech on the budget, which we supported. Mr. Speaker, we would like to see this bill move forward to the committee. We believe there are a number of changes which will improve the bill, but we certainly support the principle of the bill, and so I'd like to rise to echo my support for that principle.
The Honourable Leader of the Liberal Party to close debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and certainly appreciate the comments from the Minister of Finance. And I was remiss in my comments, but he is correct, in fact, that during his budget speech, the Minister did indicate willingness on behalf of the government to adopt this piece of legislation, and the principle that is behind it of having the House be more accountable to the people of Nova Scotia, especially in the fees that we ask them to pay for government services that they are provided with. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I would now move to close debate on Bill 106, the Fairness and Fees Act.
The motion is for the Bill number 106, Fairness and Fees Act. House ready for the question? All those in favour of the motion, please say aye. Contrary, nay. Motion is carried.
Bill 106, entitled An Act to Ensure Fairness in Fees Collected by the Government of Nova Scotia.
Order that this bill be referred to the Committee on Law Amendments. The Honourable Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move now that you do now leave the chair and the House resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole House on bills.
The Committee on the Whole House on Bills is called to order. The Honourable Deputy Government House Leader.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to call Bill number 136, Justice Administration Amendment 2007 Act.
Bill number 136.
No
No amendments. Question has been called. Shall the clause carry? Shall the title carry? Shall the bill carry? Carry. The Honourable the Deputy Government House Leader.
Mr. Chair, I would like to call Bill 137, Livestock Health Services Act.
Bill number 137.
No amendments.
No amendments. Question has been called. Shall the clause carry? Shall the title carry? Shall the bill carry? The Honourable the Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, number 138, Medal of Bravery Act.
Bill number 138.
This has been amended.
Bill has been amended. Question is called. Question has been called. Shall the clause as amended be carried? Carried. Shall the title carry? Shall the bill carry? Carried. Thank you. The Honourable the Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'd like to call Bill number 141, Respiratory Therapists Act.
Bill number 141.
The bill is amended.
The bill has been amended. Question has been called. Shall the clause as amended carry? Carry. Shall the title carry? Carry. Shall the bill carry? Carry. Thank you. The Honourable the Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'd like to call Bill 144, Municipal Grants Act.
Bill number 144.
The bill is unamended.
Bill is on amendment. The question has been called. Shall the clause carry? Shall the title carry? Shall the bill carry? Carry. The Honourable the Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'd like to call private and local bills.
Private and local bills.
102,
Bill
Pugwash
number-
Village Grants Act.
Bill number 102.
No amendments.
No amendments. Question has been called. Shall the clause carry? Shall the title carry? Shall the bill carry? Thank you. The Deputy, the Honourable the
Mr. Chair,
Deputy
Mr.
Government House
Chair,
Leader.
I'd like to call Bill number 105, Pugwash Village Capital Grant Act.
Bill number 105.
No amendments.
No amendments. Question has been called. Shall the clause carry? Shall the title carry? Shall the bill carry? Carry. Thank you. The Honourable the Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes the government's business for the day. I would like to
Report progress.
report progress. I move that you do report progress.
Chairman of the Committee of the Whole House on Bills reports.
Committees met and considered several bills, and being bills numbered 136, 137, 138, 141, 144, 102, and 105. The Chairman's been instructed to recommend them favorable consideration of the House, each without amendment.
Order that these bills be read for a third time on a future day. The Honourable Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that concludes the government's business for today. I'd like to give the floor to the interim leader of the Liberal Party for the Moore's.
For opposition members' business, the Honourable Leader of the Liberal Party.
Mr. Speaker, with the indulgence of the House, I would move that we simply recess for one or two. Well, hold on 1 second.
Opposition members' business. The honourable member for Cape Breton South.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, tomorrow the House will sit from 2 to 6 for opposition day, Liberal Opposition Day, and during that time we'll be calling Bill number 51 and Bill number 188. I would now ask the Government House Leader to give us the other hours for tomorrow.
The Honourable Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, government business for tomorrow will be from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on estimates of the Transportation and Public Works. And private members' public bills for second reading.
The motion is for the House to now rise and meet tomorrow for opposition business from 2 to 6 p.m. and the House will resume its business for government business from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, nay. Motion is carried. We stand adjourned.